at this point, we've already used a lot of different blocks. Again, a block just being one of these things we can drag into the scripts area. And we've used them for a whole bunch of different purposes. One incredibly powerful idea in computer science is the idea of being able to make your own block, or often called in other languages, make your own function. In Scratch, to do that, we can click on the More Blocks tab, hit Make a Block, and let's just make an example where we say a random greeting. So I'll type say random greeting, and now what I'll do is we want to have different things to say. So for example, we could just click say hello for 2 seconds. And if we go back to more blocks, now whatever is inside this definition of say random greeting, that's what's going to happen when I trigger this. So for example, if I click the flag right now, it's going to say the random greeting. In other words, it'll just say hello for 2 seconds. We might want that to be more than simply say hello. Maybe we wanted to choose something at random. So for example, let's say we had hello as one option. Maybe we have hi as another option. Maybe we have bonjour as another option. And so we've got a number of different things. Now, in order to tie these into my say random greeting, I'd need to be able to pick one of them at random. So to do that, we need to do something like pick a random number from 1 to 3. We'd have to store that in something. So for example, we could make a variable. Let's just call it random choice, and we could set the random choice to a value from 1 to 3 right when we click on say random greeting. Then it could be as simple as saying if that value, the random choice right here, so if my random choice is a 1, then let's say hello. If my random choice is a 2, then let's say hi, like that, and I'll just duplicate once more, and let's throw in bonjour if it's a 3. So set those to each of the different values. Now, when I click on the flag, you can see my random choice shows up there. It's either a 1 for hello or a hi, or again, it's random, so it could be any one of these. But each time I click the flag, it's just going to say one of these random greetings, because whatever this block, whenever that appears, it's going to run everything that exists inside this definition up here. So that's the basic idea that a define statement or a new block allows us to create. So let's make another one. And this time, let's try to define something that will allow us to draw a polygon. So earlier in the class, we drew a bunch of polygons. So for example, just as a reminder, we had it set up so that, for example, if I pressed the space key and I wanted to draw a square, what we learned previously is we could put a pen down and we could say, well, let's repeat 4 times, for example. We're just going to move some amount, so I'll say move 100 steps, and then we would turn, in this case, by 90 degrees. So when I press the space bar, I get a little square like that, and I'm just going to clear that out of there. Now, what we found previously is that there's a pattern here, which was that the amount I turned was simply 360 degrees divided by the number of sides, in this case 4. So that should still draw me a square. I could change this to be a 5, for example, and we should be able to draw a pentagon, so that works just fine. Now, let's say that we wanted to make this a little nicer still. Rather than having the space key pressed and then run all this code, what if we wanted a block that simply allowed us to draw a polygon? Well, let's do that. We could say make a block, and this time maybe we'd say like draw polygon with, and now what I'd really like to do is be able to tell it how many sides are we going to have. So is it 5 for a pentagon? Is it 4 for a square? What's going on? So if I click on this options, I can add a number input, and let's just type in what this number is going to represent, in this case number of sides, and then I'm going to add another label text like that, and I'll just type in sides. Now that might look a little weird because I'm saying draw a polygon with number of sides, but I think it'll make sense in just a second, so let's try it. So if I define this, and I'll just shrink this so you can see it a little better. So if I define draw polygon with number of sides, and I drag this code that I had defined with my space key previously, if I put that in here, now what I can do is this variable number of sides is now available to me inside this function definition, or this block definition. So I can say, I want to repeat the number of sides that you pass, and I want to divide 360 by the number of sides. And now I can drag in this draw polygon with, and there's just a value here, and I could say, let's do 3 sides, so I get a triangle. And if we give that a run, I'll just move this so we can see it. So if we press the space key, I get a triangle. Let's change that to be a 4 and press the space key. Great, I get a square, and let's go with 5. Awesome. So now we have a really handy block that takes in a simple number that allows me to draw a polygon.